extra time.
পরীক্ষার গুগলি হোক বা বাউন্সার, ছায়া প্রকাশনী হ্যাজ দ্য আনসার। ছায়া প্রকাশ।
Hello and welcome to the Extra Time Football Show. This is your very own Suman Chakravarti, and today we have a very, very special guest with us. He's none other than the main sports scientist of Barclays Premier League side, Leicester City Football Club, Mr. Tom Joel. Tom, welcome to the Extra Time Football Show.
Thank you very much. Yeah, good to be here.
Tom, you have come to India and you're just doing a lot of workshops over here. So what is the main perspective which you are discussing over here with the young candidates?
I think the main kind of concept that I was trying to bring across is that the sports science as a field, as a practice, has developed in football, and over the last 10, 15, 20 years maybe it's come around. It's a big part of football nowadays, more at the elite level but also coming down through the academies. And when I was first asked to come out and speak, one of the main things was about the kind of education and introducing different ideas and the principles behind what we do at Leicester, trying to educate some of the coaches out here. Educate some of the coaches out here as to what it is we're doing. And obviously, a couple of seasons ago, we experienced great success, and sports science, I was proud to say, that played a part in that. And hopefully, I kind of brought some insight into what we did and what we do.
Few years before you get just struggling in the lower divisions of the League 2 or League 1 and somewhat, and then all of a sudden an amazing success like a phoenix. So what was the journey according to you?
Yeah, a long journey. I've been there for 6 seasons, so I was there when we were in the Championship, and like you say, we've experienced a great kind of success, and it's been really good. I think the main thing from my point of view is the culture that we kind of created at the club, and that came from the managers and the coaching staff at the club. Back when we were in the Championship, they created this culture and this environment where everybody worked together and collaboratively. So whether that's coaches, sports science staff, medical staff, players, we were all working towards one goal. Nobody was butting heads or debating too much. It was all healthy, educational stuff. So as we then developed, we got the players to buy into what we wanted to do, the kind of principles that we're stressing and advising on, and ultimately the coaches believed in what we were doing as sports scientists in that side of things, making sure the players were fit, making sure they were able to perform on the weekend and they're fresh, not fatigued, that kind of thing. And yeah, over time it's developed massively. So but yeah, for me the main thing was the culture. It started with that, and the kind of elements that the coaches and the staff at that time brought, and it flowed through, and it came through towards obviously the success that we've had since then.
Well, the likes of Drinkwater, the likes of Jimmy Vardy, the likes of Riyad Mahrez, 2-3 years back, nobody knew them. And then an amicable success. Yeah. So what's the mystery behind that?
I don't think I could put my finger on one thing. It's obviously been crazy for them. I think what did show with them was when they came from, I think Riyad cost something like £250,000, and he's now worth in excess of 30 million. So Jamie Vardy we purchased for £1 million. Danny Drinkwater, I think maybe £1 million again. And now they're obviously huge money signings. Danny's obviously moved on to Chelsea, and he went for about 35 million. And I think what was key to their progress was again then buying into all the different aspects that we were embedded in the culture at the club. But then when it came to that season, the main season, was their consistency, and Jamie scoring all those goals was great. Made such a difference to what we did. Riyad was setting up the goals or scoring the goals, and Danny was just was pivotal in the middle of the pitch, making things happen. I think that consistency is key. In terms of how they did that, obviously there's a lot of aspects that came into it. Hopefully I'd like to think that making sure managing their fitness and fatigue helped in keeping them on the pitch and being able to play throughout the whole season. Otherwise, things like that might not have happened.
And I think you're very much in track with the FIFA U17 World Cup which is going on.
Yep.
And the India U17 team has been playing really well despite a lot of limitations and all that. So what would be your prescription as a sports scientist so that they can play in the senior level in the World Cup?
I think again there's an element of sports science principles can play a part at any level, and I think as players are coming through from under 16, under 17 through to professional football or elite adult football as such, there's things such as strength, power development, obviously key vital components as players are growing and getting stronger. I think then it's up to the coaches that are working with them to manage how they're training them. So exposing them to different things in the right ways, in the correct manners, but then making sure that they're not overworking them, that they're going to break down and they'll become injured, and not underworking them, making sure that they're able to then go and perform on a weekend. And I think I spoke to a couple of people out here, and they keep telling me that the way that India under-17s are playing, they're playing well, and they've played a little bit like how we played, very kind of direct and 4-4-2, stay nice and compact. When we get the ball, we try and break on the counter-attack. And I think as long as the players are able to perform in that way, then they'll be able to do it and hopefully gain success.
Well, Claudio Ranieri, he did a remarkable job with his Leicester City side. Then after winning the Premier League, he didn't get the same success in the next season. Then how difficult was that to sack him?
Yes, I mean, probably a little bit above my position, but it was sad to see Claudio go. Like you say, he'd done so much work with us, so much good work with us this season before, and I think a lot of elements came in there where we were playing in the Champions League. We had a lot more games than the season before. So from my point of view, the management of how we trained during the week in between the games, and the development of fatigue and how it influenced the fitness was something that was quite difficult for us to manage. And we did our best, and ultimately, results weren't quite going our way, and the manager suffers because of that. And it was a real shame to see him go. Obviously now he's out in France and he's doing good, and I still stay in touch with his conditioning coach Andrea. So they're back on track and they're doing well.
You're just 26 and doing a lot of work. So what's the source of your energy and source of your determination at the age of just 26?
I think it's a drive within me, and I see it, the kind of intentions of all the coaches. Everybody wants to learn and everybody wants to develop themselves and then have an effect with the kids that they're working with or the players that they're working with. I think one of the speakers talked about it earlier, and they said about how sport drives. There's a kind of innate drive when people are involved in sport, and I think that's what, personally for me, that's what's driven me to get to the position that I'm in. But then also I'm so eager to learn and discuss and develop, be educated by people like the coaches that are here at this coaching conference. So definitely a case of the drive, but then also I'd like to keep going and push on further. Yeah.
Two last questions. I don't know whether you're aware of the fact or not. Indian club Kingfisher West Bengal signed a move with Leicester City back in 2000, and then it didn't work out, to be precise. So if an Indian club wants to tie up a more somewhat a technical contract with Leicester City, so are you guys ready to offer that?
Again, that's probably a little bit above board for me, but it's something that I'm sure clubs are open to in that side in that kind of things. A lot of teams have sister clubs in different countries. We've just acquired a team in Belgium. Our owners have purchased a team in Belgium. I think it's a good move for teams in India to try and create those connections with teams in the Premier League, and equally in other leagues as well, to get that exposure, and whether it's go over and train in the same facilities at times and have the same kind of values and that sort of thing. I think it's a good suggestion and a good opportunity for clubs to go and do that sort of thing.
Last question. As a sports scientist, would it be your note of advice or prescription for the young players in India who are trying to become professional footballers and will do something special in international standard?
Yeah, I'd probably say if you're a young player aspiring to get better, obviously play as much as you can, learn in terms of technique and tactics, all those important elements. But from a sports science perspective, I'd say do your best to read up on the reasons of why strength is good for you and how it's going to affect your performance and improve your performance. And the same with power. That's two of our kind of pivotal aspects of what we do is the strength and power of our players. And I think for players coming up through the ranks, a lot of players are always really fit and they can run for 90 minutes, 120 minutes, and especially when you're young, you're able to do that. But as you grow up and you start to become into through adolescence and reaching puberty and then working on to adult games, you need to be strong and you need to be powerful. And I'd say that that's something, from my point of view, would be an important aspect to work on and develop.
Thank you so much. Hope all the viewers who are watching this have been enriched by your noble words.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for the time.
লেটেস্ট নিউজ আর এক্সক্লুসিভ ভিডিওর সঙ্গে আপডেট থাকতে এখনই সাবস্ক্রাইব করুন আমাদের ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। বেল আইকনে ক্লিক করতে ভুলবেন না যেন।